What's up guys, Bua Davis here. Today I want to teach you how you can make this free theme very easily. It's in endless runner style and the game goes like this. We have our character, we have this scene with obstacles and basically we should avoid them. And if we touch the game restarts, and if we go in the finish line, we go to the next level. We will learn about UI and how to make our player move and a lot more. So if you like this content and want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Now without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, I set up this empty 3D scene for us and we will be working here today. And in order to start working, let's create some ground. Now, I have downloaded two packs from the asset store. Those ones are free and I will leave the link to both of them in the description down below. So if you want to use them, feel free to do it. But if you have some other assets, you can use them as well because the process will be completely same. Now to make ground, we can open this Polygon City pack and in the prefabs it has some floor. We have two ways how we can make this ground. One is better way but one is faster. I'll show you better way first. You can just drag the street prefabs and duplicate it, place it here, duplicate it, place it and make one big road through it. But it's not the fastest way and I don't want to spend like much time designing. So let's delete all of them and there is much faster way which will do its job. So we can create cube, click on the hierarchies empty space, 3D object cube. Let's rename it to be ground and it will be our ground. Now, this ground has this transform component, which has position, rotation, and scale. If we change the scale, we can resize our cube, and we will do it. Let's resize scale it on the X by 15, Y I will say 0.1, and on the Z I want some bigger number, 273 for example, because our game will be on the Z-axis and we will be moving like this. And now we have this white cube which is quite boring, so we can add some material. In the Polygon City pack it has some material folder and if you open material you will see the street material and it's not the best looking road, I'm not gonna lie, but it will do its job for our testing purpose and for our teaching. Okay, amazing. Now we want to add some player for our game and I have downloaded this RPG Monster pack and if you open this prefab it has this turtle shell. Now let's drag it into our game. You can click F to zoom in. And this is our player. Now it has this animator controller and we should check what is there. I already deleted some of the lines from here. It has something like this. Just make sure to delete all the lines that come from this idle normal. It only should have this one line from entry to idle normal. Other animations we don't care about for this video. We only need this idle. Amazing. Now, where is our main camera? Let's position it a little bit better. Oh, it's far away. So click on the main camera and let's move it back to our player. And I think it looks fine, but we will adjust it later as well. But for now, it looks good. Now, in our player, click and let's add components because we need few components in order everything to work. First of all, we need some kind of collider and I think we can use box collider. Colliders are used because we want to be able to collide with obstacles which we will have in future. So let's add component and in the search box we can type box collider and click enter, and it will add this green box around our player, which is not in a good position right now. So we can move our collider a little up. To do it, it has the center element, and on the Y we can change it. We can say it's 0.5 and it looks fine. And the second component that we will add to our player is rigid body. Now, we are doing it because we will be using forces to move our player, and this rigid body has this gravity which allows us to use some forces. It's basically a physics component. We can change this drag to B1 and freeze rotation on the X, Y, and Z because we don't need any weird rotational movement. We only need moving on the Z axis, and it should be very smooth movement in endless runner style. So let's do it, and I think our player is ready. Now, one more thing that you can do to your environment, you can add some outlines here, some green lines. For example, we can create some 3D object cube. Let's position it here. Let's resize it, scale it, not on the X. X is fine, I think, to be 1. On the Y, we should make it smaller. All right. And we can change Z axis as well. Let's make it 273. And let's move it to fit our road. Okay. And let's change material of this white line. In the polygon pack in materials folder, I think it has some grass. Yes, grass. Just drag this grass to our cube and it makes this green line, which looks fine. You can do it on the both sides, and after it you can take, let me show you, this polygon city pack and go in the prefabs, and in the buildings there are different buildings. You can take these buildings and just place into your scene, position it a little bit better, and same here, and just build your environment, and it will look like this. I won't do it for today, but I wanted to show you how easily you can do it. So let's make our player move now, because right now our game seems quite boring because nothing really happening. So let's create new C# script with the name of player with the capital P. I already created this empty script for us, and just drag this player to your turtle shell or whatever player you are using. Let's just double check if it's attached to our player, and indeed it's here. So let's open this player movement script, and we need few variables. First of all, we need reference to our rigid body, so we can say rigid body, and we can name it anything we want. I will just name it RB because I'm used to it and it's short and simple. We also need two public floats to have some speed, some forward speed and some side speed for left and right movement. So let's say public float forward speed, and let's say it's equal 1500. And second, we need public float side speed, and it will be 60. Amazing. Now let's get reference to from our rigid body to be able to actually use it. To do it, in the start, you can say that RB equals get component, and the component we want is a rigid body. Parentheses, and that's it. Now we can use our rigid body. We don't need this update function for today because we are dealing with physics and with movements. Let's make everything in the fixed update because it can run more smoothly. And so just type fix update, click enter, and it will auto compile. So we have private void fixed update, and here first of all we need to make our player move automatically on the z-axis. Now you may ask how I know that we want movement on the z-axis. First of all, if we click on the player, it has this blue, red, and green as you see, and this blue line where we want to move is the axis. You can also check it by changing this z-axis position, make it bigger, and as you see, our player is moving. So we want to make it move. In order to do it, we should apply some forces to our rigid body. To do it, we can say rb.add force, and this add force takes three components, x, y, and z. As I said, we don't need any movement on the x, so 0, 0 for the y, and we want to change the z-axis. So for the z, we will say forward speed times time dot delta time for the smooth movement. And if we save our script right now, click on the Control S or Command S if you are on Mac. And let's go back in Unity and let's press play and see what will happen. Hopefully our player will just automatically move, and indeed it does. It has some movement. Now, our job is to make our player move left and right, and we should control it by A or D key, for example. And to do it, we can say that if we are pressing D or A, we want to have some movement. So how to do it? You can say that if input dot get key, and in the parentheses just type D, and when we are pressing D key, what we want again to add some force, but now we want to add force on the x-axis, because if we go back in Unity and see our player and change this x-axis, x position, you see that our player moves left and right, right and left. That's exactly what we want. So we will be changing from the script x position. For the x, we have side speed times time.delta time once again. And for the y and z, we should type 0 and 0. And one more thing, for more smooth movement, we can use force mode. Now, this force mode can be used for different ways. It has acceleration, force, impulse, and velocity change. Now, today we will be using velocity change, which basically applies force by ignoring the player's mass. You can also use force mode.impulse for more snappy, impulsive movement, but I already have shown you how this force mode impulse works in the different videos, and I wanted to show you how velocity change works. So when we are pressing D, we have this movement. We can copy this line, paste it here, and just change the D to A. And side speed, we can say that minus side speed, because side speed will be same, but we want minus to be able to move on the left side. We can save this script, click on the Control S once again, let it compile, and let's go back in Unity and see if we are able to move at all. Now let's press play, and when we are pressing A or D, indeed we are moving. But right now our camera is just staying in the same place, and that's not what we want. We want our camera to follow our player, and I think we can do this as a next challenge. So let's create new C# script, call it camera follow or something like that, and let's attach this camera follow script to our main camera. And let's open in Visual Studio. Now, for the camera follow, what we want to do. First of all, we need reference to our player. So public transform, we will use transform because we need to move our player, and that's why we will use transform to access player's position, rotation, scale, this transform element. Otherwise, we could use public game object, but for now, we will use public transform, and let's call it player. We also need vector-free, public vector-free offset, and I will explain why we need it. But first of all, let's code this. We don't need the start function, and in the update, which runs every frame, we want to say that transform dot position, which means that position of our camera to be equal to player dot position. And if we just leave it like this, our camera will be placed very wrong way, so it always needs some offsets, and offset values we will put in the inspector in Unity, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Just save this script for now, and let's go back in Unity and let's see. First of all, let's open this main camera, and it has this script attached, and it has this player's empty spot. So what we can do, we can drag our player and place here. Now, as you see, it also has this offset element. I spelled it wrong. Obviously, it should say offset, but it does not matter right now. And if we press play, if we don't change any offset and press play, you will see that our camera is positioned below our player, which is not what we want. We want our camera to be on the top and on the back side, so we can change this offset. Now, for the offset, we don't need to change it on the X. We won't change it on the Y, and for the Z, I will say -6. So 2 and -6 for Y and Z. Let's press play and see if it's working fine and if it's look good. And indeed, it looks fine, and we can move around, and we will have some obstacles which we will be working right now. But for now, everything looks fine. Okay, amazing. Next thing that we will do is to actually making some obstacles. Now, for the obstacles, you can use a lot of things. First of all, you can go with the Polygon City pack, and I think it has some stuff to use as an obstacle. Yes, it has these benches and these beans, trash bins, bus stop, anything you want, you can use it as an obstacle. For example, you should just drag this bench into your scene, and it already comes with box collider, so it can be used as an obstacle. And you can use basically everything with a collider on it, but I will use this cube because maybe you don't have this asset pack or anything, so that's why let's be simple and use this cube. We can resize this cube obviously on the X and make it little bigger, and on the Y we can, not on the Y, on the Z we can make it 0.1. Let's change color of this obstacle, and to do it we need material. Now, if you don't know how you can make material by yourself, you can click on the assets, create, and it has this material element, and you can change this albedo color to be something like green or any color you want, and you can drag this to your obstacle, and now we have this green obstacle right here. Let's play few more obstacles into our game to feel some dynamic of our game. Obviously, I won't spend much time doing for us obstacle, but this is how you can do it. Just drag different obstacles into your scene on the different ways, like here, and like that. Okay, it's enough. And now, second step, Since these cubes already comes with the collider, we don't need to add any collider. They already have this box collider. But what we want to add to all of these obstacle cubes is tag. And tags are just categories which can be used in the code. And we will need it. So to add tag, first of all, let's select all of our obstacles. You can click on the first obstacle and shift click on the last one, and it will select all of them. And you can see the inspector window. It has this tag and layer. In tag, we can click on this add tag, click on this plus sign and type here obstacle, and click on the save. And then once again select first one, shift click on the last one, and on the tags assign this obstacle tag to them. Amazing. Our tag name is obstacle and we are ready to go. Now, one more thing that our obstacles need is rigid body to be able to collide better way with our players. So select all of them and add component rigid body. That's it. Now if we press play, you will see that our player can move to obstacles and can actually crash on them. But when we are hitting our obstacles, now our player is still moving and we don't need it. So next thing, what we are gonna do is that we are gonna make scoring system and level resetting system. So when we crash to one of the obstacles, our level should restart and we will have some scoring system, and let's exactly do it. To do it, we should create new C# script with the name of player collision. I already have one. If you don't have, just click on the create C# script, player collision. Just make sure to drag this player collision script into your player. Let's double check if it's there, and indeed it's attached to our player. Now let's open our player collision script and let's discuss what we want to do. First of all, when we crash to our obstacle, we want our player to stop moving. And if you remember, we are handling all of our movement in the player script. And we should get reference from this script. How to do it? We can say public name of the script, which is player, and let's call it movement. This way we have access to our player script. And in the start, we don't need anything to write. So let's delete the start method. Also, let's delete this update method. And we will be using special method, which is name of on collision enter. Let's click on the enter and it will auto compile. And we can say some logic here. For example, if collision dot collider dot tag double equals to our tag of obstacle. Now what we are doing, when our player will touch something with the tag of obstacle, and if you remember, all of our obstacles have this tag, we made it. Just make sure to type in the script this tag name correctly, otherwise it won't work. So when we touch something with the tag of obstacle, what we want to do, we want our movement dot enabled to be false. So it just enables our movement script, and when we touch, our player stops moving. But we also need to restart our level when we touch our obstacle. To do it, first of all, we should add this line of code on the upside using UnityEngine.scene management. Otherwise, our script won't work. And just type using UnityEngine.scene management. And after we stop moving, we should say that scene manager dot load scene, and we can say 0 on the parentheses. Now, what we have done, why is 0 and what is 0 at all? If we go back in Unity and check, File, Build Settings, and as you see here, here is window of the build settings, and here is every scene that is in build. Right now I don't have anything. Just add open scenes and it will add our current scene, which is level 1 in my case, and it has this 0 index. As you see, that's why we set 0 here, because we want to restart our current scene, which is level 1 in my case. Amazing. Let's save this script and let's click on the player turtle shell, and let's see, this movement is our movements player script. So let's attach and we are ready to go. Let's test if everything is working. Let's just crash in one of our obstacles and see. And indeed, our level restarts finally, and we can start once again. Now, from here, you can take this game in the different paths. For example, you can make it big road with a quite a lot of obstacles and make it fully endless runner style, or you can go here and you can place some finish line here, and when you touch this finish line you can go into next level. So basically you can build different levels, and I will show you actually how to do it. I won't build new level, but I will show you anyway what to do. First of all, you will create new 3D object new empty game object. Let's position it in the end of our road, end of this, and let's click on the F to zoom in. Let's add component. Component name will be box collider, and kick is trigger because we will need to trigger this collider, and let's make this collider bigger. Let's just drag its sizes. So it will be our finish line. You can basically put some game object of the finish line here or some flags. I don't have any of them, so I will just using this collider. Let's rename it to be a finish, and we should make tag for our finish. So click on the add tag plus, and you can name it finish and click save. Then once again, select your finish and just assign this finish tag to your finish game object. Then let's open our player collision script once again, and this time after our on collision enter, we will be using on trigger enter. Now, what is this? This method triggers when we touch to some collider. That's why we ticked is trigger. So when we go through this empty game object, this collider, we can go to the next level. And to do it, all you can do is to say that if other dot tag, and again double equal sign, type tag name here. In our case, it's finish. And you can say here scene manager dot load scene, but this time you type here 1. Not 0. Now, after it, you will save this script, and let's go back in Unity, and let's just create new scene. Let's save this scene. Let's open a new scene, create, and let's click on the save, and let's name it something like second level. Does not really matter. Imagine that this is the second level. You can create same as we did, same environment. You can just change obstacles or some buildings. But imagine that you created the second level and you want to go through to this level. You go in the file, build settings, and add open scene, which adds this current scene, second level. And it has this index 1, which we have here. So now when we go to our first level once again, which was this first level, and press play. And if I can go through this finish line, I will go to the second level. And that's how exactly you will build the levels. Obviously, my player is little slow. You can make it faster. But first, let's check. And indeed, we are on the second level right now. Amazing. That's exactly what we want. To make your player faster, you just need to play around with forward speed and the side speed, and you will get to right numbers. And I think I talked about everything that I wanted for this video. I hope that you will get informed to a lot of topics, and this video will be was helpful to you. And if you want to see more content like this and like my videos, please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and click on the notification bell not to miss any new upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.